Welcome to another frightening episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. Today we're going to be traveling all the way to Green Bay Correctional Facility in Wisconsin to speak about a 40-year-old inmate by the name of Joshua Skullman. The story today, believe it or not, is going to have some valuable lessons. One which I believe is at the top of the list on how to survive in the penitentiary. But as always, before we get into the story, if you enjoy this content, all things lockup and crime related, then this is where you want to be. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and check out my playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. Now, before we get into the incident that happened in the facility, let's speak about the facility itself, because believe it or not, it's one of the oldest prisons in the country. Also, we're going to break down a little bit of who Josh was and his past and why he was in prison. But Green Bay Correctional Facility is still operating with a capacity of 749 inmates. The population in 2020 was 1,008, just about 400 inmates over the capacity limit. But if I were to guess, that's probably typical with like 95% of facilities across the country. I don't think there's too many jails or prisons out there with plenty of space. But this prison opened up on August 31st, 1898, over 100 years ago. The prison was originally known as the Wisconsin State Reformatory, becoming a male maximum security prison in 1972. The name was changed to the Green Bay Correctional Facility in 1979. Now, I'm going to show you a clip of some of the shoe action coming from that prison. You know, the hole, side pocket, whatever you like to call it. I don't know who exactly this guy is in the video, but he's in a bad situation. I just like to get a feel of the prison before we move on. Because chances are old Josh went to the same exact side pocket after he stabbed and killed that inmate that we're going to be talking about here in a second. But just know, this is not him. Just some random footage at the prison that I found. But before I press play, let's look at this image right here. This is the view of a house in a residential neighborhood with the wall of the Green Bay Correctional Facility in their backyard. This actually reminds me of a few prisons I've visited, and it seems like the older ones have all the residential neighborhoods built around it. Most of them aren't even active no more. So it's just crazy to see an active prison so close to someone's backyard. But let's get into the clip of the shoe. Now, this video is coming from the Wisconsin Watch. They seem to be a very transparent facility. I mean, these clips are pretty rare. You don't see too many prisons showing the isolation side of things. But you know, during all these type of situations, they have to be recorded. So many recordings out there that people haven't seen.
We'll line up pad 1 on this side to my right, all the way down to restraints. You ready?
Oh my, look at this ragtag CERT team here. I could take all three of these guys greased up in Vaseline all day. I know that sounded kind of weird, but inmates, before these guys come into the cell to get them, like to lube their bodies up with Vaseline or baby oil, make it harder for them to snag them.
Captain Delannon, Green Bay Correctional. The time is 9:23 a.m. I've got Mr. Victor Brown. His number is 529-809, cell 303. HSU is requesting that he has to come out to be seen and stuff. Mr. Brown is refusing to come out and be seen. He is also refusing to come out and refuse medical attention to HSU, which per policy he has to do is come out to refuse
focus
HSU
camera
and HSU station. ADO bench was contacted and explained the situation with Mr. Brown. And authorization to use force was granted, but not limited to incapacitating agents, electronic control devices, or enter.
All right, Sleepy, why are you closing your eyes so much? But man, this is an official dog kennel here, ain't it? Yeah, it is. It's snowing too, man. These are the type of days that you don't even come out for your hour out. You'd rather stay in that warm tomb.
Contraindications, Mr. Brown has no contraindications by RN Allstein to agents or electronic control devices. Mr. Brown is currently on clinical observation, has minimal property. He has a mat in the cell, a smock that he's using as a blanket, and a pair of socks on. There is no other property that I witnessed inside of this cell. I was able to get him to come up to the cell and talk to me and tried to gain compliance to come out, and he absolutely refused. Stated I needed to use force on him to get him out. A team of Pad 1, Officer Meyer C.
Ragtag crew here.
Team leaders, Officer Nemitz, and on restraints I got Officer Delafos, CH. On video camera recorder, I got Officer Larkin. This time we're going to go down to cell 303 as a show force. We're going to try and get him.
Show force with these guys?
We'll be at the end of the hallway. as Mr. Brown has an assaultive history towards staff and refusing to walk, and also attempts to assault staff in the past while being escorted. We'll head down to cell 303.
Move on out, boys. Look like they're wearing paintball gear. Oh man, look. You see those fans right here? Man, in them prisons with no AC, these are our lifeline. Many memories of going to sleep with those fans pumping. They put you right to sleep like a lullaby. Oh, yo!
Mr. Brown, Captain 11. According to cell extraction team, I have authorization to use force if necessary to issue out for HSU. I have authorization to use force to gain control of you, to get you out, to refuse to HSU or speak with HSU. Okay? That is not limited to incapacitating agents, electronic control devices, or enter your cell. At this time, can I say anything to get you to comply with my lawful order to come out of this cell?
Give me a cheeseburger.
Will you comply with coming out? Will you comply with coming out?
I don't.
Then I'll have to use force to remove you from the cell, sir. I do not want to use force.
Hey, you already got that ass suit up. Let them go in there, man.
And there goes the battery packer. Make him come in there. Put on the gas mask. Straight crash dummy setup artist in the next cell. Just put on the gown, bro. Get up on out of there. It looks like that's what he's doing.
Give me a spit mask.
Get me a spit mask? Who's the CO here? Who asks for one?
You're gonna cuff me behind the back. You're gonna double lock me.
You'll be cuffed behind the back. They'll be double locked.
Who's the captain here?
I'm actually going to put you in a restraint chair.
Alright, even better. As long as it's double locked. This is the first time I've ever heard of any inmate asking for a spit mask. And the hucklebuck. Man, this is crazy. There's like another 20 minutes of this video. We're probably going to tap into this on another day. But that's a little taste of the Green Bay Correctional Facility. It seems like they're doing things the way it needs to be done. By the book, man. Those COs, they were pretty calm, collected. Is it collective or collected? I always said calm and collective. But the comment section's quick to break me down. Just like yesterday's video, I said I made a video yesterday night. Well, man, I didn't mean to do that one, I promise y'all, man. I know it triggered a bunch of you. But let's go ahead and talk about Mr. Joshua Skullman. Court records show that Skullman has a violent history. He pled no contest to 3 counts of homicide by an intoxicated use of a motor vehicle, and 1 count of endangering safety by use of a dangerous weapon, among other charges, for an intoxicated 2007 vehicle crash that killed 3 people. During the incident, he actually shot an innocent passerby who advised that he should tend to the victims of the accident. Look, I got a crazy story that kind of goes with this, and anybody that happens to maybe pull over the road after a crash happens and you're trying to make sure everyone stays at the scene, better think twice, man. These people are wasted half the time and they'll do crazy things to get away. But a good Samaritan showed up to the scene of the Skullman incident where he killed 3 people, driving intoxicated, and Skullman's trying to leave the scene like a lot of people do when they get in an accident, serious one like that, and they know they're wasted, man. They're gonna go straight to prison. They flee, but this guy tried to keep him there, ended up getting shot at. Skullman already starting off his prison bid by hurting a good Samaritan. Not to mention killing 3 people that were probably just going home after dinner or something. But he got in that crash in 2007. Let's fast forward a bit. He got sentenced, he's going to prison. In 2017, Skullman pleaded guilty to charges of battery on a prisoner for 2016 attack on a correctional officer. The officer suffered a fracture to his left eye socket, a broken tooth, multiple face contusions, and a contusion to his torso. The incident was captured on DOC surveillance video. The correctional officer was transported to the hospital for treatment. Skullman allegedly told officers, "I should have killed him. The only reason why he's still alive is because I gave him a pass." Crazy, right? And it probably was the only reason why he's still breathing. But now that we got a little background on Mr. Skullman and the prison, let's talk about exactly what happened. Joshua Skullman is accused of stabbing Timothy Neighbors to death with a homemade knife. But he engraved something on this knife that we're going to get to here in a second that might shock you. A white inmate in a Wisconsin prison was being investigated for alleged extremely concerning racist activity. On October 21st, 2022, Skullman was allegedly attacking another inmate. Mr. Neighbors sees someone in prison going through a situation with Mr. Skullman, tries to save the day, ends up getting stabbed in his heart. During the scuffle, Skullman allegedly stabbed Neighbors, piercing his heart with a homemade knife that had a swastika carved into the blade. Treacherous. Imagine the CO reporting to the scene, cleaning up everything, knowing the guy's dead, picks up the weapon, and sees the swastika on it, man. That's a crazy story he's gonna take back to the crib. He probably can't tell his kids, not yet, they're not old enough. But his wife, man, she ain't gonna believe it. You know, these COs be coming home with some crazy stories. Officers too, or ambulance workers, all these people, man, to see these extreme activities, man, they ain't got stories for days. Despite the allegations of racism, Skullman was not charged with a hate crime, which carries with it a stiffer sentence if the suspect is convicted. And the reason why I think they're probably not, listing as a hate crime is because homeboy wasn't even a part of the incident taking place. So Skullman wasn't trying to kill the dude. He probably just thought maybe he was about to get jumped now. Time to pull out the blade and protect myself by any means necessary. I don't know. That's just what I'm guessing. But this is the kicker. Alright, I know y'all probably ain't going to be expecting this. But this is general population in Green Bay Correctional Facility. And Neighbors came to help the guy getting attacked. What was this good Samaritan Mr. Neighbors in prison for? At the time of Mr. Neighbors' death, he was serving a sentence after being convicted in 2020 for sexual assault on a minor. So crazy turn of events. And when you look at all these situations from certain perspectives and then see how they all link up at the end, like these guys had no idea that they were going to cross paths and have to fight to the death later on down the road, right? If only you could see your future, man. Like I said, there's some good things that you could take away from this story. All right, not only the Good Samaritan situations, you got to be careful. Like I say all the time, you see something happening in prison, it's best to just turn around. Act like you've never seen anything. But minding your business in prison is probably one of the biggest keys to survival. Now, last but not least, this story actually shows something to me. That sex offenders are not going straight to the PC units. They're walking the main line in Green Bay Correctional Facility. So for anybody that thinks that all these people with these kind of crimes just go straight to PC, that's a lie, right? I was surrounded by rapists in the prison I was in. You would have no idea. You'd be sitting, eating right next to one. That's why, inmates in many states check that paperwork and don't allow those kind of individuals to live on the main line. It's just up to the population what kind of rules are enforced and stuff like that. Their structure of living. Anyways, I'm out of here. Hopefully you enjoyed today's story. I got plenty more coming your way, not to mention delicious Thanksgiving prison pizza.